Before getting onto the ride, guests go through the indoor queue. This is one of the first areas that I think the ride does extremely well, as not only is it extremely well themed, its various displays and clever use of screens helps make for an entertaining time to help the time go by as you wait in line to board the attraction. Upon exiting the queue and picking up your blaster, you get to board the ride, but unlike most rides, there is no ride vehicle. This is because this ride uses a moving walkway to transition guests between the various show scenes. While this may be confusing to some guests at first, I think it works to the ride's advantage, as outside of maximizing the potential space used for the ride, which we'll get into in a little bit, the ride is also constantly moving and helps save time by not only being constantly moving like a OmniMover ride system, but also saves time by cutting out the time spent for checking seatbelts and restraints on a ride vehicle. When it comes to the actual ride, most of the interactive elements are done via screens. However, there are some physical props and elements that guests can hit and interact with along the ride path, some of which are moving, which is a nice touch to an otherwise screen-based ride. While I do wish there were more of these in physical props to help balance out the screens, it is a step up from their competitor Disney, which does not have any physical props for guests to aim at and earn points with their similar type of rides. In addition to this, Universal also took into consideration the sizing of the screens and their placement and helped switch it up throughout the ride, including having some sections in which the screens are side by side from each other, in which you can look both ways and choose which targets to shoot at. In addition to this, there are also several segments of the ride that are well set out to have impressive wow scenes split up by smaller yet still impressive show scenes. Instances of this is the first major room after the training sequence and the impressive grand finale. When it comes to these show scenes, I was greatly impressed by how much show scenes Universal managed to fit into this attraction. An accomplishment that is even more impressive when you consider that they only used half of the former Shrek 4D theater and leave the other half for a flex space which is normally used for Halloween Horror Nights. A main driver behind this impressive accomplishment came down to the strategic placement and orientation of various show scenes. Another factor about the ride that I love is that Universal managed to transform a theater attraction into a ride. Not only was this task an accomplishment in its own right, but it is also a great way to draw in more crowds, as in most cases, a ride is more popular than a show. Speaking of the former attraction, Shrek 4D, I found it extremely fascinating and interesting the two different approaches that Universal Creative took when it came to transforming this now retired attraction in the US parks. When it comes to comparing these two transformations, I would say that Villian Minion Blast does a better job. However, both transformations were extremely well done and make sense for their respective parks. Overall, I would give Villian Minion Blast a solid 8.5, and if I were a kid, I'd want to keep on riding this again and again until my fingers got sore, and maybe I still will. Until then, you can check out some of my other videos, like this one detailing the now open Minion Land at Universal Studios.